Hello everyone, it's been a long time, but I'm finally making another video here in the workshop, and the puzzle boxes have been rolling out. So right now I'm in the middle of assembly. So this is my setup, and right over here we're going to have the exact same duplicate setup that I have for John, who is going to be a new hire who's going to be working here throughout the summer, so that's pretty exciting. We've got tumbling here where we tumble the parts in sanding grit to deburr them, and then we polish them later in walnut shavings or crushed walnut, which gives them a nice luster and a nice polish. So that's pretty cool. The dyeing station where we will dye the parts, some of the parts black, some of the parts turquoise, and then we let them dry, and then they go into the polish, the tumbling. So that's that station. We're experimenting with using bins for that. It's a little bit messy right now. I mean, it works good, but we've got some work to do on that, but so far so good. We've got foam here because I'm packing the boxes in this foam, and then also like 2¼ inch foam that we use inside shipping boxes. So we do our laser engraving right here. It's kind of like a Pelican case, but much cheaper, obviously. So I wanted to protect it just as much as a Pelican case, but a fraction of the cost, and it keeps it from being damaged as it goes overseas or wherever that's going. So this is box number 33, and it is just waiting for the client to get back to our email, pay the invoice, and then that one will be good to go. So right now I'm working on box number 42. That's this one right here, Sundial 42, and I'm about ready to glue the top gears on. I like this the way the bottom of this is, but ready to glue the gears, well, glue the mechanism that holds the gear in place. And in production, which has been a major thing, figuring out how this production setup works, because we need to keep track of which box is where, so that we're not making extra parts, and so that we know we don't get things confused. But basically we're just gonna, as the box progresses through the tumbling, the staining, and the assembly, we keep moving the parts bins through this setup, and then we know where everything is, and it just keeps everything organized. And we're getting all that sorted out, because it's kind of a nightmare walking in here and you don't know where the parts are for specific boxes. So that's been fun. What are you up to, Josh?
Lathing.
Lathing? Bars for the lathe, wood bars?
Yes. So run in there. That size is the size that we want. But we've got a bunch of these thinner pieces.
Yep.
Which don't work ideal for the bigger pieces that we make. But the small, pretty thin pieces, not that one, but stuff like that, these will pretty much work. Every once in a while you'll get a flat one.
Josh has been running this lathe a lot of this morning, and is making good progress on little pins we need for the sundial. It's cool that we can make the parts to our specific needs. We're not just buying pre-cut dowels, but we're able to make them to just the part, to just the right diameter, so that they pop in the hole and they stick there good, and they're not loose. And Josh can really creep up on tolerances with this machine. Like, we're getting it within a thou pretty much of where we want it. So that's really cool. You're not going to get that with the wood dowels that you buy off of eBay or Amazon. There's going to be a lot more slop in those, like, birch dowels, I think they were. So cool to have this machine up and running so well. It's been helping us a whole lot with all the parts that we're doing. In other news, I'm over here at the laser cutting station. So this is a 16 by 30 laser, and what we use this for is cutting out the boards that come off of the CNC machine. So this is something fresh off of the CNC machine right here. So I just redid this vacuum table. So what happens is this vacuum pump down here sucks a vacuum, and it holds the board down by suction. And this way, the milling spindle, you can see the milling spindle right there, will move over top and cut out the parts right here in the CNC. And then, so that they don't fly off, I just leave a thin layer underneath so that the vacuum isn't broken. And so this comes over here to the laser, and we flip it over and run the program and cut out the parts, and they end up just dropping through, and we're left with finished parts. Well, almost finished parts. But so that process is working good for us. So that's pretty exciting to have that going well. Got a couple 3D printers. The other thing we haven't talked about on YouTube or anywhere else is that we've been working on a new puzzle box design, which is something that I designed about a year ago. And I was thinking about it. I never got to it last like fall or something. Then, through the Sundial, like I didn't have a puzzle that I was making for a long time. And we started working on the Sundial, and I could kind of see where the finish line was there, so I was working toward that. But then on the side, started to think about this other box design. And so Josh and I went through it a few more times and made changes and fleshed out. I had like the basic idea, and then we fleshed it out and added some new stuff. And the guy who's been super instrumental in that also is Ben Oxenford, who's been helping us prototype it and working on the fusion as well. So we've known him for a few years. He came visited here a couple of years ago, and he just lives like 15 minutes up the road, so he was very helpful getting this box off the ground, and hopefully it's going to be actually coming out soon. So the catch is, the thing about it is it's going to be the first 3D printed box that I've ever made.
Before you judge.
Yeah, before you judge, it's going to be a PLA/metal filament. That's what we're going for right now, because it's going to be a dated box. I'm not going to get into what exactly the time period is and all that, but it's going to be a few hundred years old. So we're going to make it look, from the time period of a few hundred years ago. So we're going to make it look like it's rusted and kind of been weathered and through the test of time. And so hopefully it won't even look like a 3D printed puzzle. Not that like 3D printed puzzles are bad, but like it's definitely something where you don't want it to be cheap. And like if it was me, I wouldn't want something cheap in my house that doesn't look good. I'd want to have something that looks really nice, that's I can show to people, and I'm not embarrassed to have that sort of thing hanging around. So that's why like we're doing like the metal 3D printed, and I was never planning on having it 3D printed when I designed it, but it's like the right kind of box to have 3D printed.
So it's not supposed to be a wooden box anyway.
Right.
For what it is, it would be metal. So metal 3D print is going to look like
that matches anyway. That's a good point.
And a lot of work was gone into making it look like the time period and look just cool, and I think it does.
But kind of like when I was designing it, and I told this to you a few times, was that there's lots of people, and I get emails from people who their kids are starting to get into puzzles, and they follow my work and they like what I do, but not everybody can afford the $700 to buy a sundial. So if we can make something for the people who can't quite get into that market, but a lot like the Jack in the Box. And so when we're making this, I was like, let's make it work as good as the Jack in the Box, be as simple, easy to understand. You know,
Mm.
going through the sundial, that was like making 3 puzzle boxes in one, basically, the
Yeah.
complexity. So it's like, I want to break from that. You know, let's do something that we can comprehend easily in our heads,
Yeah.
and we can work on making it work really nice. Because a really well working puzzle is just fun to
Yeah.
open and put back together.
It should be a fun puzzle box to solve. It shouldn't be something that's really frustrating at all. It should just be fun, and I think it will be. Similar to this, it's like not super complicated, which it is more complicated than this, but it's not super complicated, but it's fun and good working mechanisms that make it interesting.
The mechanisms are cool. Some of the things, and Josh had some really good ideas too. I like one of the things he threw in there, which is just, you know, it's just like, wow, it kind of makes you smile when you open it up, and it's like, wow, that they thought about that. Was a good addition to the box. But we're still slightly designing some things. There's a few odds and ends that, like, how do we make this look good, or how do we, you know, kind of conceal this aspect of the puzzle. But you know, there's a few different things going on. The price point, I'm just gonna tell you guys, you know, it's gonna be a similar price point to a box like this, somewhere around $200, $250, somewhere around there. You know, some people are not gonna want to buy a printed box. You know, they only want like the wood boxes, which is completely fine. And I totally get where those people would be coming from, because woodworking is a very fine art that can be incredibly cool, and some people are just in it for that. So that's fine. You know, we don't know how many people are going to be into this box, but definitely from a puzzling aspect, the workability, the puzzle aspect,
Yeah.
it's all there as far as that's concerned. It's going to be out of the metal PLA stuff. So so we're interested in what everybody thinks about that. So stay tuned. We're going to have a newsletter coming out soon, and
It's a cool box. Very fun to solve.
well, if you do say so yourself.
If I do say so myself.
No, it was really a collaboration of the 3 of us having ideas with Ben Oxenford.
Yeah.
We would make some videos and send him, and he would make videos, and he's come over here a few times, and I've talked with him a bunch. He's super smart, and I'm glad that he's able to do this on the side, because I've just been way too busy making the sundial boxes to really get into prototyping this box. But
Yeah. He's pretty much taking care of all the prototyping and probably all the manufacturing soon too, right?
yeah, not sure exactly how it's going to work, because some parts are going to be wood, and so we're going to have to do a little bit of wood and printed parts, but we'll figure that all out. Okay, so I'm going to wrap that up today, but I just wanted to give an update for everybody wondering how the sundials are coming. So we're making good progress, and things are moving along, and I'll have hopefully more content coming out soon, but I've just been so busy putting together every single puzzle box, because right now I'm the one who does the final touches on every single sundial puzzle. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again later. Goodbye.
It's not supposed to be made out of wood anyway. It's
No, I didn't say that.
okay.
We'll cut that out.
Okay.